Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Geaux Stros. We're going to get started in just a couple of moments. This is my first live stream from my house since moving. Jeremy Pena will be up at the plate in just a moment. He's leading off the batting for the Astros. Bit Dog says, batter up. Thanks for being here, Bat Dog. Bat Dog sounds pretty cool. 1 ball, 1 strike. Missed the first couple pitches here as I'm trying to get all my screens laid out properly. Littell is on the mound for the Rays. That next pitch is in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss by Jeremy Pena. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Little bit of wind today, George Steinbrenner Park. That ball is outside. Good take by Pena. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I do have myself some hot water made here, and I've got some really nice coffee bags. I believe these are much better than the other coffee bags. Pena hits this one high in the air. It looks like the first baseman's going to be under it. And he's got it. Pena goes down, flying out to the infield. Glenn says, I managed to join for a second night in a row. Excellent. Glenn, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. It's about 8:08 in the morning right now. Paredes is at the plate. Little high and outside for ball 1. Just so you guys know, Paredes is batting second today, and Altuve is at second base batting third. That's the way it is. 1-0 to Paredes. This next pitch is in there. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mr. Homer recently. He's been an RBI machine recently, batting .265 now. He fouls that one off to the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Isak. Isak the ball, man. I learned that this particular field is really, really good for left-handers or opposite field hitters. It has a very short fence out in right field. Next pitch is low and in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pretty interesting that they moved Altuve to batting third. He's now down to .236 with his batting average. His next pitch. Grounded to short. Should be an easy play. It is. 2 away. If I'm not mistaken, the Astros still haven't scored 10 runs total in the first inning this year. It sure would be nice to see the Astros getting some runs in the first. Here is my man, Altuve. Little high and outside. Good take. Ball 1. Here's the pitch. This is grounded down the third baseline. Foul for strike 1, and that evens the count. .108 in Poland, man. One ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Fouled back by Altuve. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Glenn, is it Poland? I believe that it's Poland that has really tightened down their borders, right? think that's wonderful. Here's the next pitch. Altuve fouls that one off. Count remains 1-2. It's funny how little things like getting the right coffee pour over bag can be so nice. Right? Something so little. 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Way high. Altuve doesn't go after that one. He would need a step ladder to hit that pitch. 2 balls. 2 strikes. Here comes the next toss from Little. Or Littell. Outside. Full count. Altuve threatening to give us another 2-out base runner. Seems the Astros' MO recently, right? Modus operandi. Here's the next pitch. This is hit up the middle. Might be a base hit. It is. Altuve finally comes through with a hit. Thank you, goodness gracious. What a great at bat by Altuve. Look at this. Slider, 88 miles an hour on the outside edge, and he pulls it. That's what I'm talking about. Altuve with a nice hit. Run on first with 2 outs. And that brings up Mr. Christian Walker. Swing and miss on the first pitch. That was a fastball, 91 miles an hour. Do you have a favorite Japanese baseball team, says Glenn. Yes, the Hiroshima Carp. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Walker. A little inside. He holds up for ball 1. Looks like Yainer Diaz will be taking the day off today. I guess Caratini is catching. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Inside, fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Glenn says, yes, it's important here with the geographical location. Yeah, I've seen some really interesting videos. I wish everybody would do that. Protect their country, man. Japan is being pushed and pressured into doing stuff like opposite of what they're doing. Altuve still second? Did you just see that? Did you see what I just saw? Altuve gets himself to second base. He hasn't stolen in almost a month. Or maybe he hasn't even attempted, or just hasn't made it. Just barely got in there. There's a ball to Walker. The count is 2-2 while they're showing the highlights. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that's on the inside edge. Strike 3. Walker goes down looking. He's not happy about that, but you know what? Walker, be quiet. Just go to the dugout, man. Unless you're just chatting it up, it's okay. But the problem with a pitch like that is that if it's anywhere near the zone, you got to swing. If you've got 2 strikes and you're anywhere near the zone, you got to swing. Anyway, I was just going to say right quick, we're on break right now going into the bottom of the first. Astros do get a hit with Altuve single, but nothing comes of it. They strand him on base. 0-0. Danny Donatelli, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's go Astros indeed. It seems that I sound very tired. Maybe I am. I definitely didn't sleep enough last night, and this is my first night back in my old house. I would say that my bed is not uncomfortable, what I made for myself. It's not uncomfortable. But I probably need a night of 10 hours of sleep. And I just couldn't get that last night. I had some stuff to do online. That didn't get finished until 9:30. So even if I'd gotten to sleep by 10, I think I wouldn't have been able to get enough sleep last night. Turns out I got less than 6 hours. That's terrible. I need to be getting at least 8. At least 8 right now. Brandon Walter is on the mound for the Astros. 28 years old. First time on the mound. Here comes his first pitch. Right in there, 87 mile per hour slider, strike one. Astros weren't sure who they were going to use until the last moment, almost. Next pitch, another slider inside and low. Ball one, counts even. Is my coffee ready? Almost. I gotta put some more water in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the next pitch from Walter. Yandy hits it over to the right side. Is it going to be playable? It is. Altuve with a crazy circus catch there. Did you see that? Wow. Cam Smith was over. Christian Walker was over. And Altuve made the play. But, man, over his head. Look at that. Good catch by Altuve. One away. That brings up Jose Caballero. Caballero batting, what's his average? 260 for the year. First pitch to him is in the top of the zone for strike one, 87 mile per hour slider. Oh, and 1 pitch in the dirt. Ball one. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here comes the next toss. Ooh, just barely misses on that outside edge. 79 mile per hour slider. 2 balls, 1 strike. Glenn says, how's your Japanese? Ima mama desu. 1年の前にから今まで日本語を勉強しました。でも上手じゃありません。Next pitch is on the way. 2-2 pitch. Right in the bottom of the zone. There we go. 89 mile per hour, 4-seam fastball. He gets the strikeout. Caballero didn't like it, but that is a strikeout. Yeah, right in there. How do you like that, Mr. Walter? Second batter, strikeout. Not bad. Glenn, basically what I said was from a year ago until now, I studied Japanese. But my Japanese is just so-so. I'm not very skilled at it yet. You could say I'm intermediate. 1-0. Here comes the pitch. Bounced foul. Jonathan Aranda is at the plate. Took the first pitch for a ball. Second pitch fouled away. Here comes another pitch. Fouled off at the plate. Strike 2. 1-2 is the count. Are you recognizing the sliders, or is it written on the screen? Well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, MLB, when I watch the MLB site, it does have the information on the screen. Apple TV doesn't. That's ripped into right field. Is it? Oh, that's not fair, thank goodness. That was ripped down the line. Almost an extra base hit right there. Fast runner. Could have gotten to third. Foul as it stands. The count remains 1-2. But you know, Glenn, early on, I couldn't recognize any of the pitches. You know, anything that moved a lot, I thought it was a curveball. And anything that went basically straight, I just thought it was a fastball. I've gotten better at recognizing the pitches, especially certain pitchers. But Brandon Walter is a new guy. I don't recognize his pitchers as easily, but he's throwing a lot of sliders. Here's the next pitch. He hits this one out in the left field. That's going to float out of play too. Count remains 1-2. See, that one was actually a fastball. But if I were to guess, I would have said either fastball or slider. They both looked similar to me. Here's the next pitch. Swinging a strikeout. Look at that. Walter gets another K. 1-2-3 start in the first inning. That's what I like to see for a new pitcher coming in. Hello, 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 Mr. Walter. 2 strikeouts for him in the first inning. Top of the second coming up. Astros and Rays. 1 hit on the board courtesy of Mr. Jose Altuve. Jordan said, I thought we had a lot of pitchers. We do. We do. But did you guys hear about Wesneski? This is typical Astros staff, right? Wesneski has some discomfort, right? They actually let him pitch, okay? I listened to some of the details of this yesterday. They actually let Wesneski pitch not too long ago, even though he felt some discomfort, but he said he was all right, so they let him go. They let him pitch. And guess what? Now he's going to have Tommy John surgery. We won't see him for 2 years. I guarantee it. There's no way he's coming back next year. They say he'll be back next year. But do you really think that he's going to have Tommy John surgery and be back next year? I don't think so. Astros, once again, not being very transparent with their injury reports. Typical of the Astros organization. Another thing that I don't really like is how Altuve had hamstring tightness, is what he said, or what was reported. Hamstring tightness. And they're not letting him rest enough. He's 35 years old. Right now he's slumping. With his recent hit, he was able to get his batting average back to 240. But that's absolutely terrible for Jose Altuve. Victor Caratini is at the plate right now to lead off the second inning. Takes the first pitch high for ball 1. 1-0. But I think now with Wesneski out, the Astros have 7 starting pitchers. Some of them have been out for over 2 years. I wish they would just be honest about those things. Here's the next pitch. Wow, ripped into right field. Is that fair? Yeah, it's into the corner all the way to the wall. Caratini's going to be running. He's going to try for second. Yes. Heck yes. Standing double for the Batman, Victor Caratini. There we go. That's the way to start off an inning. What a rip. Nice rip down the line. Right into the corner. Good one. I just realized I haven't changed Little's picture on my screen. Zach Little. Littell. Jake Myers comes to the plate. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. Here's the next pitch. Hit up the middle. Jake Myers all the way out to center field wall. Is it gone? No, it's off the wall. Caratini will score easily. Jake Myers with a stand-up double. 2 stand-up doubles back-to-back for the Astros. Who is this team? Back-to-back doubles for Mr. Baseball and the Batman. Astros up 1-0. Man. Astros playing musical bases right now. Are they going to get another double here? Zach DeCenzo comes to the plate. It's his turn. No outs. Runner on second. Here's the toss. Woo, he hits that one really hard, but it goes foul. He was aiming for the fences there. Oh, and 1 is the count. Here comes the pitch to DeCenzo. Inside. One ball, one strike to Zach. Next toss on the way. That one's fouled off at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Seven for 19 this season with runners in scoring position, batting .368. One of the better performers at the plate when we have runners on. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Little high, good take. 2 balls and 2 strikes. My coffee is ready. I will now consume it. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here's the toss. Oh, a little low and inside. Called strike 3. That one missed, really. That was more ball than strike. It didn't touch the zone at all, but the umpire really had a taste for it. So DeCenzo goes down looking, but you still got to swing when it's close, you know. Cam Smith at the plate with 1 out. Myers on second. First pitch is outside. One and 0. One 0 pitch on the way. In the dirt. 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to Cam Smith. 1 out. Myers on second. Liddell comes off the mound, fakes a throw to second. $11 people watching the live stream right now. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the likes on the channel. Next pitch is actually in there for strike 1. 2-1 is the count. Cam takes a brief moment out of the box. The Astros already have 3 hits. 1 run on the board. Here comes the next pitch to Smith. High and outside, another good take. It's interesting. Liddell has a high percentage of throwing strikes, but he's been throwing a lot of balls now. Is he jittery? Here's the 3-1. It's grounded right to the third baseman. Caminero holds Myers at second and then goes to first. Cam Smith is put away for out number 2. Come on, Stros, don't waste this opportunity. Yeah, this coffee's not bad. This coffee, it are not bad. Chas McCormick is at the plate, guys. First pitch to him is a little high. Just like they said back in Little League. Good eye, Chaz. Good eye, Chaz. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss right down the pipe. It's okay, Chaz. You'll get it. You'll get it. Just keep swinging at that. Can you imagine if you're a professional player and your mom is sitting nearby and she's yelling stuff like that? It's okay, Chaz. You know, he's not being nice to you, but it's okay. You just keep trying. Here's the 1-1. He fouls that one off. There you go, Chaz. See, I told you could do it. You missed that first one, but you can get that bat on it. You can do it. Now put it out in the play. Put it out in the field. You can do it. You can hit that ball. Here comes the next shot. Strike 3. McCormick blows his one shot to drive in Myers. But Jake Myers with the big double. Right after Caratini's double to put the Astros on the board. Going into the bottom of the second. 1-0. The Stows. The Houston Stows. The Stros lead this game. They lead this game over the Tampa Bay Rays. 11 people watching right now. Thank you for being here. Currently, there's an MLB break. Astros went up by 1 with that double by Jake Myers, Mr. Baseball himself. Chotomate kudasai. And that is Japanese for wait a moment, please. Chotomate. Wait a moment. Kudasai, please. $370 subs. All right, that's gone up a little bit more since yesterday. I think when I ended my live stream yesterday, I was at 365, and that was a big increase. The day before, maybe, or 2 days before, it was 355. So in the past 2 days, it's gone up by 20. That's really nice. My minimal goal that I hope, well, actually, I'm sorry. Pardon me for yawning. I expect to be at 400 subs by the end of the month. That's what I expect. But what I was hoping is that over the next 10 days, I could get to 500 subs. That would be great. That would be absolutely fantastic for the channel to really break out up to 500 subs. All right, Walter back on the mound for the Stros. He had a 1-2-3 first inning. He throws that one inside and low for ball 1 to Junior Caminero. Here comes the next pitch. This one's hit really high out into left field, but McCormick is underneath it. Quickly comes in and gets set up under it like a pro. Puts it away. You go sit down, Mr. Caminero. The Chazamanian Devil has put you away. The Rays have Caballero and Caminero on their team. This first pitch is outside to Christopher Morel. You know what? If you want to learn, if you're like an English learner and you want to learn a lot of international names, just watch American baseball, I swear. Fouled off. I think that hit his foot. He seems to be all right. He's walking it off. Walk it off. Walk it off. You're okay. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mr. Morel. Now, I have been using this avatar on my screen for a while, which is fun and nice, but I'm thinking about changing it up sometimes and having myself. But I just wanted a cooler background. I wanted to have a nice setup here for my streaming before I do that. Which do you guys prefer? Do you like the anime character that I had made? Here's the 1-1 pitch. Way outside. It's going to be ball 2. 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, no runners on. Here's the toss. This one's hit really hard out into left field, but not too deep. Another one for McCormick to put away. I'm so happy to see Altuve at second base and McCormick in left field. It warms my spirit. It warms my soul. Or is that the coffee? Maybe both. Brandon Walter. He's got my name. Brandon. From one Brandon to another, shut this inning down. Just a little outside. Ball 1. Danny Jansen at the plate, a righty. Jansen is batting 186 for the season. I wonder how many at-bats he's had. That's in there for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 22 pitches now for Walter. Here comes the next one. Just a little inside on that slider. I haven't seen a Swiffer from Walter. A sweeper. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. Here comes the toss. That one's ripped to left field. There goes the no-hitter. He's going to have at least a single. He's going to have to hold up at first base, thankfully. First hit for the Rays, and they have a runner on first base with 2 outs. That brings up Josh Lowe. I think it's Brandon Lowell and Josh Lowe. This team has so many players with similar names. They need to stop this stuff. Trade some of these guys away. Make it a little easier on me. First pitch to Lowe is a little low and inside. 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 toss. Fouls it off. 1-1 is the count. By the way, there's also a little update. You know, Spencer Arrighetti, they're waiting for him to come back. They put him on like a 2-week injury list thing, but he's been on that for a while now. That's the thing, it doesn't make any sense. Well, yeah, we're going to put him on the 14-day IL, and then he's on there for like 2 months or something. Freaking Astros staff. What are they doing? 1 ball, 1 strike to Josh Lowe. Here comes the pitch. Walter just misses with that slider on the outside edge. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the next pitch. Fouls that one off. Wow, that's funny. The commentator that they're talking to got that ball just now. That's funny. They hit that ball right into the camera booth where all those cameramen are and the live, one of the live hosts. That's funny. Here comes the next pitch. 2-2, bounce foul. How cool would it be to go to every single Astros game at home and on the road and do the live stream for the games? Walter's pitch count has risen. Now he's up to almost 30. With this next delivery, it will be 30 exactly. Here's the pitch. Just a little low, ball 3. Full count. Started off so good with 2 outs. Gave up a hit. Now threatening to walk a runner. His pitch count would have wound up at about 24 for 2 innings. Now it's up to 31. Here's the next pitch. That one's hit off his foot. Count remains 3-2. Jordan said, well, there went the no-hitter. There went my $1 million retirement. If you bet no-hitter on the new pitcher, good for you. I support that. I don't support betting whatsoever, but I will support that. You know, why not? Why not put a few dollars and spin that wheel? Here's the full count pitch, but Walter steps off the rubber. Josh Lowe at the plate. 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner on second. He breaks his bat and fouls that one down the first baseline. A 92-mile-per-hour changeup, and it destroys Josh Lowe's bat. Altuve looks lost with his hat like that. Look at that. Crash. Boom. You can hear the crowd. Whoa! It's shattered. That's gone. That was all the way out to second base. Altuve grabbed it. Another full count pitch, the 33rd of the inning. I'm sorry, of the game for Walter. Foul ball again. You can't seem to get that last strike. Don't walk him. I'd rather you keep getting foul balls than give up a hit or a walk. Your name is Brandon Walter, not Brandon Walker. Here comes the next toss to Josh Lowe. All right, that's a grounder to Pena. Pena goes over to first. Good night there, Mr. Lowe. Walter finally gets it after a little bit of struggle. It's okay. A few more pitches than usual, but not a big deal. It's not like he's pitching like McCullers. McCullers needing 25 pitches to get through an inning, 25 or 30. I mean, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying right now he's got a little ways to go before he gets to where he needs to be. But man, his pitch count is so incredibly high. McCullers, it's insane. Jeremy Pena will be back up at the plate for the Astros in just a moment to face Littell, followed by Isaac Paredes and Jose Altuve. How nice would it be for Pena and Paredes to get on base and give Altuve some incentive when he comes up to the plate? That would be nice. George says Alvarez might miss the season with a sore thumb. Yeah, it's funny how just something like that, that's one of the reasons I stopped playing basketball. I didn't play college basketball. I was offered a scholarship to play college basketball, and I said nope. Because I got tired of getting my thumb injured. My thumb and my shoulder and my hands, you just constantly get injured on those body parts. And my thumb, it would just stay injured and sore and hurting for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I just got tired of that. Jordan says they're not very honest with us. Yeah, referring to the Astros staff, you're absolutely right. Everybody talks about it, but they just don't seem to care. Both pitchers have high ERAs. Well, right now, Littell is losing the battle against Brandon Walter. That's for sure. Littell is back up on the rubber. He's going to be facing the Flash. You can't stop the Flash. Here comes the pitch. That's up the middle, and it looks easily playable, but he's going to drop it. He's going to drop it. Oh, try to jinx him. It's okay. The Flash will live to play another day. One away. Isaac Paredes, still an opportunity for him to get on base for Altuve. Let's see if he can do it. 3 hits for the Astros, 1 for the Rays. 1-0. Stros are on top of this game. Here comes the first toss to Paredes. He shows bunt and then takes a strike. Really? Isaac Paredes showing bunt? Showing bunt? He calls timeout, backs out of the box. It's funny. The infielders did not move in. They don't think Paredes is going to bunt. I don't either. Here's the pitch. That's hit really hard out the left field. Holy cow, that was a home run ball, just foul. What a rip. Maybe that's why he showed the bunt. He's just trying to mess with the pitcher's head. Oh and 2. Here's a pitch way high. He has to pull his head back and get out of there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I wouldn't mind seeing another Paredes long ball. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off. Count remains 1 and 2. 17 people watching right now. That's great. We're almost at 20. It's been slowly, quietly creeping up while I'm calling the game, so it's nice to see. Here's the next pitch. Fouls it off again. Once again, we'll have a 1 and 2 count. Make him work. Make him work a little. Oh, man, I crack myself up. Who needs people around you? Who needs to socialize when you can socialize with yourself? That's why I'm in the countryside. In Japanese, it's called inaka. Inaka means the countryside. One of those kanji for the word is also used for like rice fields. Here's the pitch. Good take. 79 above the zone. And that makes it ball 2. 2 and 2. Any count is a hitter's count for Mr. Paredes. He doesn't care. He'll smack anything out of the park. Here's the pitch. Fouls that one off. Woo. Wow, that almost hit one of the Astros over there. He dove out of the way. Be careful, Paredes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Grounds that one off again. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that was the hitting coach. Yeah, so Paredes sending a message to the hitting coach right there. Snitker, that's actually the hitting coach. That's funny. Hilarious. 50 pitches now for Little. How about that? Hit hard. It could be gone. It could be it. It's gone. I told you guys. He's crushing the ball. Paredes don't give a crap. The former Tampa Bay Ray. Yeah, that's right. He just hit it a little over the wall, and the Astros are up 2-0. 2-0. That one was blasted. It looked just like the foul ball that he hit before that, just a few pitches before that. Crushed. 2-0 Stros. Paredes, man, he's turning into a home run machine recently. Altuve's at the plate. He doesn't have a runner on, but that's fine by me. I'd like to see Altuve rip one. He's got a single now. A big game for Altuve would be awesome. Ball 1, by the way, to Altuve. Next pitch is on the way. Little high. Good take. That one's just a couple of inches above the zone. Umpire with a good eye, not calling that a strike. 1 for 1. Altuve with not only a single, but a stolen base today, starting off this game really well. Here comes the 2-0 count. Just barely on the inside. The slider finds its mark. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Altuve shows bunt and he runs, but he fouls it off. Not a bad idea. There are crowd members calling him Buzzer Boy right now and yelling at him and booing him. I'm really tired of people hassling Altuve. They don't know anything. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Get out. Yes. 2 for 2 with another single. That's right. Shut up those players. Shut up those fans in the background yelling at you. That's right. 2 for 2 today. Altuve with the inside pitch fastball. 2 for 2 today with 2 singles. Just rips it out. And there's the replay on the home run by Paredes. That's not the Altuve hit. With the 2-2 count, Altuve is on base. That's right. People are heckling him in the crowd, but he gets it done. Christian Walker, little check swing. Did he go? First base umpire says, "Sorry, sir. That would be a strike." Jordan says you called 7 home runs on that Paredes at bat. Yeah, it sounds like he just kept ripping them, didn't he? Oh, man, that's barely on that corner. That inside corner could have gone either way, but it's strike 2. Walker 0-2 in the count. He decides to take a little pause. 5 hits now for the Stros. 2 runs on the board. If it takes 5 hits to get 2 runs, they're going to have to get busy. 10 hits, that will be 4 runs. I mean, it's fine if they can get the hits, but come on, let's improve that ratio. That homer definitely helped. Here's the next toss. Outside, good take. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm sure it's a lovely day outside. Unfortunately, on the right side of my room here, I don't have a window. I can't see out into the backyard. I have a small mountain in my backyard with a forest. Very nice, quiet, and secluded out here. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Nope. Littell steps off the rubber. Takes a little break. A little breaky break. Altuve on first base with 1 out. Here's the pitch to Walker. High. Good take. Good take, Mr. Walker. Your name is Walker, not Striker, so you can't be swinging at that stuff. Two pitch is on the way. Little low, good check swing. Look at that. Man, he held up, and the umpire was nice to him because he could have called it. It was close. Now, you got to swing on that stuff that's really close, but good for you, Mr. Umpire. The count is now full. Here comes the next pitch from Littell. Grounded off at the plate. Altuve took off on the 3-2 count right there, but he's going to have to jog back. We'll have another 3-2 count. Littell, his pitch count is slowly creeping up there. He's already up to 61 pitches. He's about to toss his 62nd one right here. Now he's averaging over 20 pitches per inning, and he only has 1 out. Here comes the 3-2 delivery to Walker. Hit hard out to left field. Is it going to get down? No, it's all the way to the wall. Leaping catch by Cabanero. Altuve goes back to first base. Man, what a drive. That was a deep drive by Walker. All the way out to the wall. Leaping catch by the center fielder. Take a look at this. That was not a bad hit. I didn't think it was going that far. Line drive almost all the way to the wall. Holy cow, the Astros are hitting the ball pretty hard off this pitcher. They should have a lot more than 2 runs on the board, but Caratini had a double. Speaking of hard hitting, he got a double his last at bat. Takes that first pitch just outside for ball 1. Caratini and then Myers back-to-back doubles last at bat. I'd like to see that again. Clear the bases, man. Put a couple more runs on the board. Here's the next pitch. Fastball fouled away on the opposite side. Caratini's batting lefty right now. Count is even 1-1. Glenn says, I think the coffee is working on you. Yeah, I need a second cup too. He might run again. I mean, Altuve. Yeah, he might. He might go for it. Let's see. There are 2 outs. He might just do it. Littell goes over to first base. Altuve is able to get back. Two outs. Altuve on first. The Batman, Victor Caratini at the plate with a 1-1 count. He fouls that one off. 86 mile per hour slider. 86 mph. One ball, two strikes. Little bit of a delay as Littell looks for the call. He's finally got what he wants. There's the pitch, grounded to the first base side, and it's through. Altuve should go to third, and he's gonna stop. No. I thought he would be able to go to third, but it was just ripped too hard down that first base side. How do you like that? Another two-strike hit off Littell. Well, that's funny. They're giving a Yordan Alvarez hit for the cycle bobblehead on Saturday at Daikin Park. It's funny, he's not even going to be in the game. They're discussing right now when Yordan will be back. They talk about it like it's going to be within the next couple of weeks, but who knows with this staff, right? Who knows with this Astros staff? They don't say anything. There was a meeting on the mound. The pitching coach came out with the infield, had a little chat with the pitcher. He's facing Jake Myers. Jake Myers also had a double. Remember that Caratini had a double and then just now a single. Jake Myers had a double to score Caratini. Now he's got two runners on. Let's see what Mr. Baseball can do right here. Here's the first pitch. 83 miles an hour right in there. The splitter. That dropped a little bit. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the next pitch to Myers. In the dirt. That one got away. Is Altuve going to get to third? Yes, he is. Altuve can almost walk to third. Runners on the corners now. Yeah, Caratini couldn't see that very well. He stays at first. Runners on the corners with two outs. Jake Myers at the plate with a 1-1 count. Littell gets the call that he wants. Here comes the pitch. Myers fouls it off at the plate. Another splitter. Nice breaking pitch, but Myers gets just a piece of it. Yeah, Glenn says, Altuve. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Altuve, I was thinking since they had two outs, they might send him because they do that a lot, but he didn't go. Here comes the 1-2 count pitch right up the middle. That's going to be an easy play. The second baseman just picks it up and steps on the bag. So, unfortunately, Myers and the Astros strand runners on the corners. But one big swing from Mr. Paredes right there makes the Astros double their lead. 2-0 with 6 hits. Astros with 6 hits and 2 runs. The Rays with 1 hit, no runs. Man, they got to convert a little better than that. Don't be stranding these runners. Don't be stranding these runners. Bottom of the third coming up. I don't know why I forgot to change that information on the screen, but it is the bottom of the third. That was the top of the third. The Astros have scored in the second and in the third. Not surprisingly, 0 runs in the first. Leading the entire major league with runs scored in the first. The least runs scored in the first are the Astros. Glenn says, when did the Houston ballpark change names this past offseason? Yeah, Glenn, they got a new sponsor. So between last season and this season, it went from Minute Maid Park to Daikin Park. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know all the details, but my assumption or my knowledge on the subject matter is basically that whenever a company does a sponsorship on a park like that, they get it for a certain number of seasons. So when the season is up, I suppose they can continue to pay and keep that sponsorship, or someone else can get it. I really don't like, though, parks named after businesses. I really don't. I miss the Astrodome. That is cool. That's perfect to me, the Astrodome. And it never changes. It's always the Astrodome. Now, if they get a sponsor, maybe I'm okay with that. Like if it's the Daikin Astrodome, Minute Maid Astrodome. Maybe that's okay. Maybe I can accept that. Because, the sponsorship is nice. Getting that money. Getting that monies. First pitch from Walter is in there. 87-mile-per-hour slider. He's facing Taylor Walls. One strike. No balls. And that is another strike in the low part of the zone. Good toss by Walter. 0-2 real quick. Real quick. Taylor Walls. Here comes the pitch. Fouled it off. If that would have been maybe just another couple of inches higher, he might have gotten the strikeout right there. That's what he was trying to do with that high fastball. But he didn't put as much meat on it. It was only 91 miles an hour. He's got a faster fastball than that. Astros up 2-0, and this count right now is 0-2. 38th pitch of the game on the way. About a foot off the plate. First ball, 1-2. Here comes the next toss to Taylor Walls. Right on the outside edge. He gets the call. I think Walls doesn't like that. But that's going to be strike 3. He gets the call on that edge. Man. Look at that. Boom. Could have gone either way. Walter was very disappointed in that. Not as disappointed as his mommy is right now. Next batter is Curtis Mead. Another one identical to the last pitch on that outside edge for strike 1. Walter getting serious right now. Here comes the next toss. Line drive right off the glove of Paredes. He dove for it but couldn't quite grab it. It's going to go all the way to the wall. A double by Curtis Mead. The second hit of the game for the Rays. And they have themselves a double. Good effort by Paredes there. You can see 104.5 miles an hour. Look at that. That was a bouncer, by the way, not a line drive. So that was a difficult attempt. I am surprised, though, that he didn't get it because Paredes is freaking awesome over there. But that's definitely a base hit. Yandy comes back to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. That pitch is just a few inches outside for ball 1. One and 0. Here comes the pitch. That one's ripped straight at Pena, who grabs it. Good, what a good catch by Pena. Looked like it was a short hop. And we get another look at that. That's out number 2 as he fires over to first. But runner stays on second base. That was a nice little grab by Pena. I don't know why they didn't show a replay. Whatever. Whatever. Here's the pitch. Grounded foul by Jose Caballero. Strike 1. 0-1 is the count. Jordan says, I wrote my name on the aircraft light right on top of the Astrodome when they were renovating. That's pretty cool. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Caballero holds his swing, and that will be ball 1. There is a copper roof tile that they used on Meiji Shrine in Tokyo when they were renovating. It has my name written on it in a short message. Here's the next pitch, 1-1. Swing and a miss on that inside slider. Dirty pitch from Walter. 47th pitch of the game coming up for Walter. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second here in the bottom of the third. Let's see if he can get out of it right here. Maybe a strikeout? Nope, he comes off the mound. There's some weird guy out in the crowd. Boo! Boo! What a weirdo. It's part of the game, man. Pitchers can disengage. There's the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to third. Paredes scoops that one up, no problem. Fires it over to first. Gets the out. Now that's what we're talking about right there. That's why you don't hit it over there. The man is on task. He's always on task. 1 hit for the Rays in that inning. It's their second of the game, but they still have a goose egg on the board. How about this so far? 3 innings of 2-hit ball from Brandon Walter. A big, big deal, especially considering that the Astros have 2 runs on the board. Good performance here. Going into the top of the 4th, guys, Zach DeCenzo is due up in just a moment. Let's take a look at the comments section. I've got about 14 people watching right now. If you have not liked the video already, please do so. I keep forgetting to ask, but when I see that I only have 11 likes on the live stream, then yeah. I was up to like, what, 20? I think maybe a little more than 20 people following at the same time on the live stream. And then I haven't been asking for subs or likes or anything like that, so I think my likes have suffered. But if you have a moment, please take the time to like the live stream. This needs to go up, 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 up. Glenn says, yep, me neither. The Astrodome is the only place I saw the Astros plays live. You know, Glenn, same here. Same for me. When I was a little boy, I'm still kind of a little boy, but when I was a little boy, we lived in Houston for a while, and we went to see a few games. Of course, the games that we typically saw were against the Cubs or the Dodgers, because my brother was a Dodgers fan, and my sister liked the Cubs. She didn't really care about baseball. She liked the Cubs because they're cute. Oh, cute Cubs. Hey, better. Swing better. You know, I remember my first baseball team in Houston. We were hitting the ball off the pitching machine. Zach DeCenzo takes the first pitch in there for strike 1, an 86-mile-per-hour slider. We used to make noise at the batters. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss, low in the zone, 83-mile-per-hour splitter. We would literally baa like sheep. Baa. We would do that until the pitch. It was ridiculous. Here comes the next pitch. Low and inside. One ball, 2 strikes. Littell up to 74 pitches with this next toss. Little high. Good job, Mr. DeCenzo. Astros have been making him pitch quite a bit, even though they only have 2 runs on the board. He's already at 75 pitches with this delivery. Here it comes. DeCenzo goes down swinging again. Another strikeout for DeCenzo. Hang your head in shame, Mr. DeCenzo. 1 away, and the youngin' Cam Smith comes to the plate. Check out his batting average on the road so far. 462. How do you like that? He takes that first pitch inside for ball 1. Not a bad take for an 0-0 count. A little dangerous for a 2-strike count, but it's okay there. Here comes the pitch. That's in there, an 83-mile-an-hour splitter. Drops it right in the zone. The count is even. Hey, bada, 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 bada. Swing, bada. I never quite understood why you would tell them to swing. I mean, it might be a good one to swing at. This one's hit to the shortstop. He charges in, fires over, gets Smith. No problem. Out number 2. Smith is fast, but he's not that fast. Come on, we need to extend this inning. Give Walter a longer break. Chas McCormick comes to the plate. He struck out his last at bat. A big hit here is what we need from Chas to boost his ego. Well, there is a hit. Left center field. There we go. Big enough hit. That's good. Serve us up a little something, a little soft serve from Chas McCormick. Oh, 1 for 2 today. Extend that inning. Put some pressure on him. That brings up to the top of the lineup. The Flash comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today with a pop out and a fly out. He's putting the bat on the ball. Just hasn't straightened it out and gotten something from it, but he's got an opportunity here. There comes the pitch. High and inside. Good take. Littell now at 80 pitches. Little League Astros, Mark says, was my team. Oak Dad's Club. Oh, that's interesting. My Little League team was the Grasshoppers. My very first team was the Grasshoppers. All of the teams in my league were named after insects. We were number 1. We went undefeated. We won so easily every single game that we started playing against other teams that actually had pitchers. Oh, Pena gets hit. That ball kind of slipped out of Littell's hand, and it smacked Pena. So we have a hit by pitch, 2 runners on with 2 outs. Let's take another look at that. Right on the shoulder there, right on the arm, rather. Close to the shoulder. 86 didn't feel good, but at least it wasn't 96, right? First time Littell has hit a batter this entire season. And that brings up our home run guy, Mr. Paredes. How about another? Serve it up, baby. High and inside. Ball 1. He might walk Paredes. He might not put anything in there that he can hit. That's what they do sometimes. That's what they be doing. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Top of the zone, just barely misses. Good take. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Littell is shaking his head, 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 shaking his head. Now he's got the pitch that he wants. Here comes the pitch. Right in there, 83-mile-per-hour splitter. That was a good pitch. He actually threw it in the zone. I can't believe it. 2 balls, 1 strike. To Paredes. Here comes the next toss. Ooh, big swing by Paredes, but he misses that one. The splitter on the outside edge. He'll probably go back to that same pitch. Paredes taking the breaking pitch and then missing the breaking pitch. He'll probably go back to another one. Placement? Who knows? We'll see. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Here in the top of the 4th for the Astros. Here's the pitch to Paredes. He fouls that one off. That one was low. Paredes went after it. Count remains 2-2. Mark says grew up in Oak Forest, Northwest area. I lived in Wood Forest, in that area. I went to North Shore Elementary. Here's the pitch, way outside. There we go. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That means that the Astros can run their butts off Chaz McCormick and Jeremy Pena, both of them fast runners. Off to the races right here. Just a little hit would be great. Inside. Called a strike 3 right on the inside. Yeah, he really thought that was ball 4, but you know what? When you look at it, Paredes was hugging the plate. What Paredes should have done with that is pulled that ball. He should have ripped that ball, and instead he took it. But you know the rule. If you got 2 strikes, you can't let that go. It's got to be a swing. If it's that close, you got to swing. You got to swing. Paredes should have been thinking home run, not walk. That's unfortunate. Could have been a big hit right there. He could have pulled that ball. 7 hits for the Astros, only 2 runs on the board. We go into the bottom of the 4th. The Tampa Bay Rays will be back up to bat against Brandon Walter in just a moment. I should put some kind of poll in the chat, right? I think. We've got a series coming up against the Mariners, guys. Is it a 4? I think it's a 4-game series. Yeah, I'm right. It's a 4-game series on the road against Seattle. Four-game series, so that's what I want to say. Start a poll. How many wins will the Stros get in the upcoming 4-game Mariners series? 1, 2, 3. There we go. First pitch by Walter to Jonathan Aranda is in there for strike 1 while I'm putting up a poll in the live chat there. Second pitch already on the way. Outside, 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. Woo, that was nice. Could have gone either way. It was right there, lower outer part of the zone. Aranda calls a timeout, steps out of the box. Yeah, start Thursday, yep. 4-game on the road, man. The Astros are working hard right now. They had several weeks to go, right, without a break. Way outside for ball 2. The slider missing by a substantial sum. The pitching difference between Walter and Littell is massive. That one's also way outside. The difference between their pitch count is just like that pitch. Massive. Full count. Here comes the pitch to Aranda. In the dirt, ball 4. So full count walk to Jonathan Aranda. The Rays have a leadoff base runner. Yeah, Mark, I think you're right. I knew it was around 17 or 18. It was ridiculous. Just no breaks. Just go, 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 go. Grueling schedule, mainly for the pitching staff. Junior Caminero is at the plate. First pitch is way inside. That's several pitches by Walter now that have been really far on that side of the plate. It's inside for Caminero, but it was outside for Aranda. 1-0 is the count. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to third, might be a double play. Paredes to Altuve. Altuve to first. And Walker, and they say he's safe. Astros commentator said it was just in time, but they're going to take a look at it to see. They're going to challenge it. Yeah, Houston is challenging the safe call. So let's take a look. Yeah. Well, we don't see it there. Oh, yeah, he's out. Yeah, the Astros are going to get that overturned. Terrible call by the ump. It was pretty obvious. His foot wasn't even on the bag. Not even close. Not even close. I went ahead and updated it on the screen to 2 outs and cleared the bases because... Yeah. Brandon Walter, nice double play ball there. That's going to help keep his pitch count down. Yep, it's overturned. The runner is out. Houston retains their challenge. No surprise there. The crowd boos, but he was clearly out. Nothing to boo about. It's like saying, boo, I want to win by unfair play. Boo. Bunch of weirdos. Be quiet. That brings up Christopher Morel. First pitch to him is low and inside. Another low inside pitch by Walter. 1-0. Mark says, is it me or do the Astros have a lot of TJ injuries? Yeah, they do. It's not just you. A lot of the podcasts have been talking about it recently. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on the outside edge. Good toss. That was a really nice pitch. A lot of movement on that changeup. Morel looked like he was swinging an inside pitch, but that was an outside pitch. That one's right in the zone. A slider fouled away. One ball, 2 strikes. Walter 1 strike away from not only getting out of this inning, but picking up another K. Let's see if he can serve up some milk and a bowl of Special K right here for Mr. Morel. I think Mr. Morel's a little parched, a little weakly looking. He could use a Special K serving. A little breakfast. That's in the dirt. They say he did not swing. Ball 2. The count's even. Mark went to high school with Wesneski's parents. That's interesting. Here comes the next pitch. Right in there. Hit high in the air. Is it playable? Walker's over. And does he get it? No, it's right into the net. So close. The net just blocks Walker from getting it. Count remains 2-2. He was right there. Look at this. Oh, it went right into his glove. I don't know if it hit the net first, but it looked like it hit his glove first. Next pitch is fouled at the plate, and it hits Caratini. Caratini reacts to it, but it seems like he's okay now. He says, let's play. Caratini walks it off without having to walk it off, because that's what the Batman does. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on base. Here's the toss. That's hit really, really hard. Crushed, foul. Way out there. Looks like that went out of the park. Glad it was foul. That would have halved the lead. We'll have another 2-2 pitch. I need to find a way to get my leg propped up. Blood flow's bad. Cue shot to Altuve. He's got a quick play to make, but he can't get there. He tries. He gives it the old college try, but that's going to be an infield hit. Good effort by Altuve to try to grab that ball and toss it over. A very weak grounder there by Morel. Even if he had gotten it there, it wouldn't have mattered. It wasn't there in time. Yeah, there was really no hope for them to get the out there. It was just a well-placed little ball. Caratini comes out to the mound. He's going to have a little quick meeting with Walter. Good time to take a break. 2 outs, runner on first. Danny Jansen had a single his last at bat. 16 people watching right now. Make sure you like the live stream, peeps. I only have 12 likes. I need 20. Got one more subscriber. Thank you so much. If you like the Astros and you like the live play-by-plays, please support the channel. That's what I'm doing. I'm the only English channel live play-by-play right now. On the inside, ball 1 to Danny Jansen. There are several reasons why I started this channel. I'd like to keep it going. If you guys can keep supporting me, liking the live streams and subscribing, it will help me out. Swing and a miss by Jansen. The changeup. Nice movement on that changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the next pitch from Walter. That might be gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's off the foul pole. What? Are they saying foul? I thought that was off the foul pole. They're saying it was not. They're saying that's not a home run. I thought that was for sure a home run. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, okay, I see. Wow, look at that. Look how close that was, guys. I thought it went off the foul pole. Everybody else did too. McCormick says it was not. He was like, "No, that's not a home run. That's off the balcony." That's true. That's strike 2. How close was that? Okay, it's a crew chief review. But you see this balcony right here, the ball hit there. It's definitely not a home run. Take a look at this. It missed the foul pole by like a foot and hit the gate, that balcony gate. Foul ball. The ruling on the field is confirmed foul ball. Whew. Astros avoid avoid the 2-run homer right there by Danny Jansen by about a foot. Walter will have another opportunity to get him out here. Come on, man. You got 3 shutout innings. Let's make it 4. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here comes the pitch to Jansen from Brandon Walter. No, Walter goes to first base. And then the boo, 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 how dare you? How dare you throw to first base? Boo. Here comes the toss to Jansen, I believe. Yes, it is. Right in the top of the zone, just barely high. Woo, he missed a strikeout by just a couple of inches. Ball 2. 2-2 is the count. Mark, I see your question. I'll get to that in just a second. Here's the next pitch. Jansen hits that out into left field and just into the corner. Woo, barely foul. Wow, look at that. Jansen really trying to get this hit, man. Chaz pointing, that's foul ball. Again, Jansen with a big hit out there to left field. And look at that. Woo! Inches. The first almost homer by a foot. And then the double, the RBI double, missed by inches. Man. Chaz out there, he's like, yeah, I know it's not a hit. Are they doing another crew chief review? No, they're not. Okay. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're going to do it again, guys. Man, nail biter right here. Strike 3, you got it. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Strikeout. What a battle at the plate between Jansen and Walter. And Brandon Walter does it, man. Good job, man. Good for you. Talk about nerve-wracking. To come back with that fastball on the top of the zone. Nerves of steel right there, guys. Nerves of steel. A home run missed, a 2-run home run missed by a foot. And then an RBI double missed by just a couple of inches. But Brandon Walter gets through it. 4 shutout innings of ball. Just to this point, couldn't ask for more through the first 4 innings. We go into the top of the 5th. The Astros due up in just a moment, starting with my hero, Jose Altuve. What a game. Low scoring, but exciting. Let's see here. Mark says, blood flow problems, neuropathy. Actually, Mark, it's a little more serious than that. For those of you who don't know, I have a cancer tumor on my kidney, my right kidney, and that was diagnosed 3 years ago. I've been dealing with it ever since. You could say that my life in pretty much every way has been like a roller coaster, maybe more of an amusement park, I guess you could say. but not the kind of, maybe kind of the really old, scary and broken down, dangerous amusement park, you know. But sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes things are a little better. But things are up and down all over the place. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the live stream for the baseball games, is because the condition that I find myself in. I'm 50 now, so it's not like, I mean, I could go back to teaching, but at this point in my life, really, I mean, the doctors haven't given me a good prognosis. So why would I go back and just try to spend my last days making no money doing something that I don't want to do? Jose Altuve comes to the plate. 2 for 2, 2 singles, and a stolen base. First pitch is on the way. Little high and inside. Littell is still on the mound, but the Rays do have guys going in the pen. I've got one guy, Uceda. Here comes the next pitch to Altuve. That one is on the edge. Outside edge. Strike 1. 1-1 is the count. But anyway, Mark, what I was going to say is that that tumor is causing blood flow issues. So it causes anemia, edema, and blood clots and all sorts of fun stuff. Way up high, Altuve out to the shortstop. He's underneath it and puts it away for out number 1. That's the first time they've managed to retire Mr. Altuve this game. 2 for 3. He goes to the dugout, 1 away. Yeah, they're trying. That guy says they're trying. That's true. Glad to end that. Me too. I'm glad that that inning ended. I'm glad that Walter won that battle against Jansen. First pitch to Walker is fouled back. 0-1. The 4-seam fastball coming in at only 89 miles an hour. Gregory says, hope you get better. Seem like a cool guy. I appreciate that. I really do. I believe I will. The doctors don't agree. But what do they know? I'm a believer in what appears to be isn't reality. 1 ball, 1 strike to Christian Walker. Here comes the toss. Fouled away. Actually, several areas of my life are kind of like that. Career, finances, my relationship, like my romantic relationship with the girl in that I met from Vietnam, and my health. All of these things are challenges. Walker fouls that one off. The count remains 1-2. I could tell you some stories about everything that's happened to me. On the surface, it just seems like the appearance doesn't seem good, doesn't seem easy. But we'll see. That pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Christian Walker. But like I said, I believe that everything on the outside comes from within. And I continue to keep choosing differently until that comes to pass. Whoa, that should have been strike 3 right in the top of the zone. How did he not get that one? How did Littell not get that one? Look at this pitch right in there. Boom. 83 mile per hour splitter. And they called it a ball. The count is full. Walker fouls it off. Count remains 3-2. Wow. 98 pitches for Littell. Here comes the next toss to Walker. Hey, foul tips it into the glove of the catcher, and that'll be a strikeout. 0 for 2 is Walker today. And that'll bring up Victor Caratini. Ed says, thanks for doing a live stream for my Astros. You are welcome, Ed. Our Astros are not always easy to watch, but they are a fun team to watch. Caratini takes the first pitch high and outside for ball 1. 2 away right now, no runners on base. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Another one low. I mean, not low. What am I thinking? What am I thinking about? It's because I haven't had my second cup of coffee. I need to make that. I should heat up the water. High and outside is what I meant to say. 2 balls and no strikes to the Batman. Here's the pitch. Fouled back. Man, that hit the wall pretty hard. You could hear that close to the microphone. 2 balls, 1 strike. That guy says was bootlegging again, but it stopped, so watching TV is hard to like and comment on the TV, so I'm on the phone now. 13th like is me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. The thing is, if the likes don't go up, then YouTube doesn't expose my channel to many other people. This one's hit sky high. It looks like it's going to be an infield fly. Shortstop comes in and gets it. That's the 3rd out, and that will end the inning. So that's it for the Astros and the top of the 5th. Nothing really doing there. Probably the quietest inning for Littell so far. 2-0. The Astros lead remains going into the bottom of the 5th. Let's take a look at the live stream chat. But yeah, YouTube uses a combination of things to decide how and when and where and all of that to share a channel. So just the likes, I think, are really important, because I've noticed that when it gets to 10 likes, 20 likes, 30 likes, it starts to create kind of an exponential effect. So, for example, and I know that this is not accurate, but just as an example, let's say that once the channel gets to 10 likes, they show it to, like, I don't know, 50 more people than they usually do. And when it gets to 20 likes, they show it to like 500 more people than they usually do. So the amount of people that they expose the channel to exponentially goes up the more likes. There are certain thresholds that it gets to. I don't know what they are, but I've noticed that more and more people come in, the more and more likes there are. And of course, the comments, you guys are talking a lot in the live chat. That's really awesome. It shows great engagement. People are following along. And of course, getting the subscribers. If you guys haven't subscribed and you're interested in the Astros, the replays, or not necessarily the replays, but the live play-by-play, be sure to join. We're currently on break in between innings, if you're wondering, for those of you who may have just come in. It's in the middle of the 5th. The Astros up 2-0 with 7 hits, 3 hits for the Rays. No errors in this game. Lowest opponent average right now in Texas, 199. Yeah, Astros road pitching. Their opposing batters have been batting 199. That's crazy. Okay, Walter is back on the mound. Strike right in the middle of the plate to Josh Lowe. Dubin is on the mound now for the Astros, warming up. 0-1 is the count. Here's the pitch. Right in the bottom of the zone. Swing and a miss. 0-2, just like that. How awesome would it be for Walter to get through 5 innings with no runs scored? Swing on the outside. Did he go? They say... No, he's called out. The home plate umpire says, no, I called you out. You're out, dude. You're out. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, the coach is out there arguing, but check this out, guys. The home plate umpire called him out. He said, you're out. Look at this. Yeah, the home plate umpire says that's strike 3. He said, you went. Yeah, and he's over there arguing. He's arguing. The coach is out there arguing. But the thing is, the home plate umpire called him out. He said, you went. This is where the head coach needs to understand the rules. The home plate umpire never referred to the third base umpire. That was just Caratini. Doesn't matter. Strike 3. Awesome. Learn the rules, man. Home plate umpire, he's the boss. That pitch is in there. Strike 1. Taylor Walls at the plate. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the toss. That's hit pretty hard, but high. Out into center field. Myers puts it away for out number 2. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. If the home plate umpire calls it a ball or a non-swing, then they can petition third base. But he called it a strike. He immediately pointed at him and said, you went. He got so upset about that. That pitch is in there. Good one. Curtis Mead at the plate. The inside cutter for strike 1. That was really humorous. Here's the next pitch real quick. Outside edge, fouled away real fast. Walter goes to 0-2 on Mead. He gets the strikeout right here. 5 innings of shutout, 3-hit ball for Brandon Walter. Mead takes a little timeout by stepping out of the box. All right, now Walter is back up on the rubber. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way high. Ball 1. Well, I guess if you get an 0-2 count, you can toss something experimental. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 78 pitches in the game for Walter so far. The 79th one is coming up in just a moment. Here it comes. High again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got a few chat messages in the live chat. I'll get to those in just a minute, guys. Thank you so much, by the way, for the likes. They have been going up. Almost at 20. This one's hit to third. Paredes grabs it. Fires the first, and that's it. 5 straight innings for Brandon Walter in his first appearance. Check that out. 3 hits. Good job, man. 3 hits. No runs. No hitter through, shutout through 5 innings against the Rays. Most likely Sean Dubin will come in the 6th and toss at least 1 inning, if not 2. We might see Dubin, then King, then Abreu, then Hader. My hot water is ready. You guys have some comments in the section I want to get to while I'm pouring myself another coffee. I'll try to get to those. Let's see here. Bootlegging. Let's see. God bless. Yes, I saw that one. Thank you, that guy. Stay positive, Mark says. Thank you very much. That guy says my buddy's mom had cancer in high school and she never took a day of chemo. Went to an Asian medicine doctor and is healthy. That's what I'm basically trying to do. It's hard to get that support here in Japan. They are too, I guess you could say, westernized in their approach. They put way too much faith into chemotherapy, but I've had many family members who died of cancer, and all of them went the same exact route. Chemotherapy, do everything that the doctor says, spent tons of time in the hospital, really, really low quality of life, struggled, got worse, and then died. Some of them died pretty quickly, within less than 2 years. Some of them died after, I guess you could say they all died within 1.5 to 5 years. Every single one of them. They all did the same things. They did exactly what the doctors told them to do, and they did all those terrible treatments. And even my mom said she regretted ever doing the chemo. If she could go back, she never would have done it. So they haven't understood it here. When I told them I didn't want to do chemotherapy, they just didn't understand why. But that's one of the reasons why I moved to this house. If you guys don't know it, I live in an old house. I have another YouTube channel that is really just about this house and living here and renovating it. And that one has almost 3,000 subscribers, but it's been kind of dead for a while. Myers is at the plate. First pitch is on the way. Little outside. New pitcher on the mound for the Rays. Edwin Uceta. Edwin Uceta. 1-0 pitch on the way. That's in there. 86 mile per hour change up. 1-1. The count is even. Whoops. I forgot to update my information on the screen there. Okay. Now it's right. Here comes the pitch. Myers hits that one out into center field, and it is put away for out number 1. Home team, top of the 6th. 1 away. Zach DeCenzo will be up to bat in just a moment. Man, these glasses are hurting my the sides of my head. I've got a headset on. I might go to the microphone. If I can afford to buy one, I will buy a new microphone. Give you guys a better experience. DeCenzo takes that first pitch outside for ball 1. 1-0. Starts off just like Myers' count. Edwin Uceta. Do I have his picture in my folder? Maybe. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on that outside edge, called a strike. Good toss by the pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike. Edwin Uceta. Yeah, I do have Uceta. Dubin is still warming up in the bullpen. Next pitch is on the way in just a moment to DeCenzo. And there it is. Fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes to DeCenzo with 1 out, nobody on. Next pitch from Uceta coming in just a moment. He comes set. Uceta comes Ucet. Here's the pitch. On the inside, 94 miles an hour. Fouled off again by DeCenzo. Let's see here. Mark says, got my foot cut off on my birthday. Oh, holy cow, Mark. Is that diabetes related? I am sorry to hear that, man. That's got to be rough. I'm really sorry to hear that. But you know, everything, I know it's difficult to hear, or maybe a lot of people don't understand it, but I really do believe that everything has a reason, and all of those reasons are similar. They drive you a certain direction in your life, and that direction, that destination, is a good place. You just have to go with the flow. Lone outside to DeCenzo. We have ourselves a full count. Here's the 3-2. Foul ball. Foul tip into the glove of the catcher, DeCenzo. That's 3 strikeouts for DeCenzo today. Holy cow, what is going on with DeCenzo? 2 away here in the top of the 6th. The Astros not doing much suddenly. They make it interesting to watch for sure. Isn't a little late for coffee. Right now it's 9:52 in the morning. Ed, for me, I'm in Japan. So it's not too late for coffee for sure. It's not even 10 o'clock in the morning. Cam Smith takes the first pitch for a strike. The second pitch is on the way. That's also in there for a strike. He calls it timeout until he gets settled into the box. 0-2 with 2 outs. Can Cam crank it up? Come on, Camshaft. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. No, he can't. He goes down like DeCenzo. 1-2-3 inning for the Rays. Astros up by 2, 7-3 on the hits. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Let's check out the live stream while I finish pouring my cup of coffee. I'm trying to get caught up on all of you guys' comments. You've left a lot of comments, a lot of messages in the chat. I'm very, very interested in checking it out. That guy says, thanks for doing the stream. I literally live a mile and a third away from the stadium. I'm watching your stream from Japan. The future, remember? Yes, that's right. This is the future. That joke came from a friend of mine. He was talking to me one day on the messenger, and he said, hey, can you tell me what's going to happen? What's going to happen tomorrow? And I said, what? And he said, because you're in the future. I said, okay. He said, give me the lottery numbers or something. It says, you're in Japan. I was there for 5 months in the Navy when my ship broke down and got towed to Sasebo. Yeah, there are quite a few bases here. I'm in Hiroshima, Ed. I'm not in Hiroshima City exactly. I am in what's called Higashi Hiroshima. In Japanese, Higashi means east. And you might think, oh, you're in East Hiroshima City. Well, Hiroshima is also a prefecture. It's a really large area. And East Hiroshima is actually a large area. And it is considered a city, technically. And inside that, I live in a place called Toyosaka. And Toyosaka is a small town in the north area of East Hiroshima. So it's a very rural countryside area. The only way I'm able to do this game for you guys is because I'm using a Starlink internet setup. Otherwise, there is no internet access out here. I have my mobile and the Starlink, but there's not even DSL out here in this area. No fiber optic for sure. And I only have one neighbor. I'm surrounded by rice fields in this area. All right. Sean Dubin is on the mound for the Astros. First pitch is up and in to Yandy Diaz. Ball 1. Second pitch is on the way. Way outside. So first pitch is too far inside. Second one's too far outside. Good old Sean Dubin. Here comes the next pitch. Right in there for strike 1. Where's Sean Dubin's picture? There it is. There you are, Mr. Dubin. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, or 2-1 pitch rather. That's hit out to right field. Yandy dropped his bat like he thought it was a home run. It was just a foul ball. It was a big foul ball, but still foul ball. What a weirdo. I love it when they drop their bat like I did it, and it goes foul. Sean Dubin. Here comes the next toss from Sean. Just a little high and inside. That'll be ball 3. 3-2 with no outs. Yandy Diaz, a fly out and a ground out today. Let's make it a strikeout. Let's add to the collection. On the outside edge, but too far outside, and that's a walk. That's not what I wanted to add to the collection, Mr. Dubin. 1 out base runner. I'm sorry, 0 out base runner. The leadoff guy gets on with a walk. Jose Caballero comes to the plate with 1 runner on. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, ball 1. Dubin throwing a lot of balls. Let's see here. That guy says if a foot cut off is what I got for my birthday, I would never celebrate it again. It'd be hard to. But, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, you have to look at it from a perspective of understanding. It's not always easy to immediately see the reason why. 2 balls on that pitch, low. Here comes the next pitch from Dubin to Caballero. That's a infield fly. Altuve is over. Looks like he'll take it, and he does. 1 away. That guy says make up a new one, do something for you. Yeah. This game's supposed to be 6-5 by now, says Jordan. You'd think so. You'd think so. And I'm going to go to Hiroshima City. I've got to go to the hospital tomorrow, but today I'm going to relax. Go to the city a little early. Stay at a very cheap hotel. I should be doing the next game tomorrow from that hotel, actually. Here comes the next toss from Dubin. 0-1 pitch. Just a little outside, and that evens the count. I will watch a movie today. The new Mission Impossible movie. And then relax at the hotel. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on. Dubin to Aranda. This is hit way up in the air. Is that going to be playable? No, it floats into the crowd. But that is strike 2. You're in trouble, Mr. Aranda. Aranda. Neither team. Jordan says neither team very good today. Well, the pitching isn't bad, but the hitting is definitely not good. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the toss from Dubin. No, he goes over to first base instead. And then the boos come in. Boo, boo, how dare you, boo. I really want to get caught up on all these comments. You guys are leaving a ton of comments in the live chat. That's great. Mark says, I had a friend die 9 months after diagnosis. She went to Germany for experimental study. Wow. Here comes the next pitch. The 1-2. Did he hold up? Did he go? They appeal to third base. They say he didn't go. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You know, Mark, I had a classmate from high school. I just heard about him a couple years ago. He got diagnosed after me. Here comes the next pitch. Outside, ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Man, I need to finish pouring this coffee. I keep forgetting. I get so busy clicking, reading the comments, calling the game. Can't get my coffee finished. I need an automatic coffee maker. That's what I need to do. That'll be easier. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. We'll have another 3-2 pitch in just a moment. But yeah, I got diagnosed 3 years ago. And about a year and a half ago, I heard that a friend of mine had passed away. He got diagnosed in December. December before last, he got diagnosed. Basically, November, December, and then by the end of January, he was gone. He was gone that fast. I'm still here. Here's the pitch. Grounded to Altuve. Altuve flips it to second. Pena goes to first. Not in time to get the double play, but they get the lead runner. Dubin picks up the second out with that grounder. Fielder's choice. Mark says stage 4 diagnosis. Yeah. I've never been told exactly what stage mine is, but I don't need that information. I think I'm pretty sure where they think it is, based on what they told me. Here's the pitch. Grounded to third. Should be taken by Paredes at third. He goes to first. Good hard throw and gets the third out. Heck yeah. So Dubin does his job. Go sit down. McCormick due up in just a moment, guys, to start off the top of the 7th. Astros up 2-0. Let's reset all this information on the board here. There we go. Top of the 7th, 2-0. A big lead by the Astros. 7 hits to the Rays 3. Now I can finish pouring my coffee and check out the live chat comments I'm trying to get caught up on. Jordan says, I would try experimental to possibly help others. You know, I think we don't need all of the, a lot of experiment drugs and stuff. I think what we need is an attention to things like fasting, autophagy, natural treatments, and things like that. The doctors always say the same thing. Now think about this. You go to a doctor, let's say 30 years ago, in the hospital, and you say, what about fasting? And they'll say, at that time, they would say, well, there aren't any studies that support fasting. And then you go 20 years ago to a doctor and you say, what about fasting? Well, there aren't any studies that support fasting. And then 10 years ago, there aren't any studies that support fasting. And then today, literally, you go to the doctor, there aren't any studies that support. Now, why is that? Because fasting is free. Or with hospital support, even if you go into the hospital to get looked after while you're fasting and doing natural treatments, there's still almost no money in it. That's the problem. That's the real problem, guys. Think about this. Decade after decade after decade goes by, and they keep saying, well, there are no studies for that. There are no studies for this. There are no studies for that. There are no studies for this. Why is that? Because there's no money in that. Natural things cannot be patented. Drugs can. Chas McCormick comes to the plate. Nine-hole hitters for the Astros. Wow, batting average of .368 on the road. McCormick goes after the first pitch, fouls it back. New pitcher on the mound for the Rays, Garrett Clevenger. Do I have him in my folder? No, I do not. 0-1 is the count against McCormick. Next pitch is on the way. That's in there. Wow. If you guys saw that, that's amazing. Look at this. Called a ball by the umpire. 88-mile-an-hour slider. I think that was just a problem with the catcher having to move around to catch it. Fool the umpire. That one's fouled off for strike 2. 1-2 against Chaz. Jordan says I'd be trying to starve cancer and increase immune system. Yeah, the best way to starve it is to eliminate all sugar. And then beyond that, there's fasting, of course. Here's the 1-2 pitch. High, ball 2. Good take there. Chaz not chasing that high fastball. The count is even. Rangers fake park. Mark says I'm diabetic, was breathing a poison for 7 months. Immune system can't keep up. Sepsis. Lost my voice. My foot. It was bad. That's terrible. Strikeout for Clevenger. McCormick goes down swinging. 1 out. Jeremy Pena comes to the plate. He was hit by pitch. That's the best performance we've gotten out of him so far tonight. Here comes the first pitch. He hits that one pretty hard to left field, but it's going to be shy of the wall by a good margin. Not even to the warning track. It dies. Out number 2 on the very first pitch. Pena flies out. I can put a little more hot water in this coffee. Yeah, then my coffee will be finished. It'll be ready in just a moment, and then I can drink it. Isaac Paredes comes to the plate. He's got one of the Astros' only 2 runs with the solo shot. Here comes the next pitch. First one to Paredes. Way outside, missed by the catcher for ball 1. Well, you know, losing a foot is terrible. But, you know, everybody's different. People handle things differently. And, you know the old saying, there's some fates worse than death if you continue to live and suffer. Some people just prefer to die, and I've been at that point many times, dozens of times. I've just wanted to give up. Just wish I was gone. 2 balls and 1 strike. But for some reason, something inside just keeps saying, I can't just lie down and give up. I can beat this. I can do it. Something inside. As Paredes takes that pitch right down the middle, the catcher throws a terrible toss back to the pitcher, and he misses it, and it bounces off the mound. He's going to get a new baseball. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Isaac Paredes. That guy says the lady called me from Singapore 187, and I was just about to eat and tried to sell me something for $1. She went through her whole spiel. I started messing with her. For $1? Just $1? That's a lot of effort just for $1. Here comes the pitch. That's low and inside. Almost got him on the leg. Full up on Mr. Isaac the Ball Paredes. Oh, about the future? That's interesting. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled back. We'll have another full count pitch in just a moment. Jordan says, I don't go to the doctor because I know they'll tell me I have 6 months left. If I make it to 65, then I'll go see the doctor. Interesting. That's interesting. Here comes another full count pitch. High, ball 4. Paredes gets the walk that he was trying to get last at bat when he should have been swinging, but he gets this one. We have a 2-out base runner. And that brings up my hero, Jose Altuve, with a big opportunity to shut up this crowd. That guy says the doctors never have anything good to say. Yeah, and they prescribe you things sometimes that are just waste of money, or they tell you to do things just like, why did I spend money to come here, you know? They give you medicine that doesn't treat the illness. It just makes you feel better. And you go home and rest. I don't need to go to the doctor to get that kind of information. I could just do that myself. First time Altuve is batting against Clevenger. Here is the pitch. High for ball 1, 97 mile per hour pitch. Man, this crowd is trash. Yelling all sorts of insults at Altuve. I can hear it in my headphones. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Grounded foul down the third baseline. The count is even, 1-1. Paredes on first base. Mark says it was life or death. That's why I did it, but I had no idea how screwed up I was. Wow. This girl was super healthy, drove race cars, worked out constantly, was on a TV show, so that documented it all. Yeah. That ball is outside and high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Altuve. But see, that's the thing. That's why I tell people that what you believe on the inside is what comes to pass on the outside. It's your inside state that determines what happens on the outside, not the other way around. Altuve fouls out one off. Counts 2-2. We don't have to accept what appears to be the reality on the outside. We can choose differently. Mark says, today was my best doctor visit. I have my doctor's visit tomorrow. But today is going to be my relaxing day. Take the day off. Go to the city, watch a movie, and relax at the hotel. Try to get up and do this ball game at 2 a.m. Altuve strikes out, unfortunately, way inside. First time they've easily put away Altuve. We go into the bottom of the 7th, guys. This game's still 2-0. I don't think most people expected the game to be at this point. Yeah, Jordan says cancer doesn't like positive thinkers. Yeah, and the funny thing is people will say that sometimes. They'll say, think positive, just be positive. And yes, of course, saying positive things. But you could say that the marriage of positive thinking and positive feeling, this is the key. This is what unlocks it. So you could say positive affirmations and positive words and positive, that sort of positivity is good, but it doesn't have any power if it's not married to the right emotions. I mean, think about this, guys. How many times have you or someone else around you, how many times have they said or you said things that you believe or want to believe, but that's the problem. You want to believe it. And you state it like it's true, but on the inside, your feeling doesn't match. And the universe is not fooled. For good or bad, I believe that the way the universe works, the way it's set up, is that your true feeling about how you perceive and believe things to be is what creates the things that are happening in your life. And that's why you see some people that seem like such good people. They're so sweet and they're so nice and they're so kind, and they just suffer in so many ways, and they keep suffering, and it doesn't make sense. And why is that? It's because of the way they perceive themselves and their lives. That's why. Dubin is still in the game, and he is facing Christopher Morel. That first pitch is outside, ball 1. That's why it's really important for me to stay focused and really believe it, really feel it. That's in there, swing and a miss. 93 mile per hour fastball. Is that Okert? Yeah, Okert's warming up in the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Morel. Morel grounds it to Pena. Pena quickly fires over to first, and he's got it. Good solid play from Pena there to get the first out. Bid Dog says that and a great sense of humor has got me through 4 different kinds of cancer. Bid Dog, did you go for the cycle? You got the cycle in cancer? In baseball terms, you got the cycle, right? And you did it. You got through it. First pitch to Danny Jansen is a ball. Here's the pitch. Right in there. Nice pitch by Dubin. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 for 2 today is Jansen. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside on that breaking pitch. That was a Swiffer. Dubin with the Swiffer. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the next pitch. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But, you know, great sense of humor is good as long as it's coming from the right place. Because, you know, some people joke a lot and they're really hurting on the inside. So, that once again, the key is your feeling. Here comes the pitch. Low. Just below the zone, a couple of inches. 2 balls and 2 strikes. People can be smiling and joking and seem so fun and wonderful on the outside, and just totally destroyed on the inside. I thought that was a full count. Apparently it's ball 4. Okay, that's a walk to Jansen. A 1-out base runner. That brings up Josh Lowe. First pitch to him is on the way, fouled off. Righty versus lefty. 0-1 is the count. BitDog says, haha, colon, liver, pancreatic, and lung cancer. I made the all-star team. Man, I don't want to be on there. I don't want to be on that team, but I'm in the game. Fouled off for strike 2. 0-2 is the count against Lowe. Right now, I lost my health insurance, recently, a couple months ago. About a month and a half ago, I lost my insurance here in Japan. Fouled off again. The count remains 0-2. And so whenever I go to the hospital, I have to pay full price. So I avoid all of the major stuff. I'm not taking the expensive medicines anymore. I'm only taking blood thinner. But I think I need to have my blood thinner increased nowadays because my legs are swelling up a lot since I'm not taking my cellular inhibitors anymore. That's the expensive medicine I can't afford. That's almost $3,000 a month. Ground ball up the middle. Pena steps on the bag, goes to first. Does he get it? They say he's safe. The throw is not on target. Walker tries to tag him, but it looks like he doesn't get the glove on him. Let's take another look at it. Jeremy was quick, but just didn't quite get there with that throw. Just barely missed it. Man, that would have been a really awesome play by Pena. He just didn't get the throw on target. Taylor Walls comes to the plate with a 2-out base runner on first. Here comes the first toss. He hits that out into left field. McCormick is under it. Puts it away right on the warning track. There we go. Good inning by Dubin, pitching 2 straight innings of shutout ball. So far, a combined 7-inning shutout for the Astros pitcher between 5 innings with their new guy, Brandon Walter, and 2 innings from Sean Dubin. Man, the Astros really getting it done with their pitching staff. Even when running on fumes, they're getting it done. How do you like that? Christian Walker will be up to bat in just a moment for the Stros in the top of the 8th. Top of the 8th. $18 people watching now. How many likes on the channel? Only 17. I need 19 watching. Thank you for joining. Need 3 more likes, guys. If you have the ability to like the live stream, please do so. I would like to get this one up over 20 at the minimal. At the minimal. For some reason, the view count hasn't been too high today. I see it just went up to 20. Thank you for joining. We are on a break right now. The Astros are winning 2-0. Top of the 8th inning coming up in just a moment with the Astros due up, starting with Christian Walker. Lots of comments in the live chat. It looks like most of you think the Astros are going to take 3 games against the Mariners. I would love to see a sweep. I would absolutely love to see a sweep. What I really wanted was to see a sweep of the Rays and then a sweep of the Mariners. The Astros getting 7 games in a row and taking out the first place team would be such a big boost to their record right now and to their egos. It would be very encouraging for fans, the team, take solid control of first place. That'd be awesome. Christian Walker's at the plate. Pete Fairbanks is now in the game for the Rays. First pitch is on the way. 86-mile-per-hour slider in there for strike 1. I don't know if I have Fairbanks in my folder. I'll check and see. Here comes the next pitch. Just inside, but a strike. 0-2. Yeah, I don't have Fairbanks in my folder either. Oh and 2 is the count against Walker. Your name is Walker, not Striker. How about Homer? Christian Homerer. He fouls that one off. Fowlerer. Christian Fowlerer. The count remains 0-2. Let's see if I can get this picture. This Tampa picture. This Tampa picture on the screen. Next pitch. Almost on the way. 0-2. Fouled back again. No balls. 2 strikes. The count remains. Pete Fairbanks. Pete Fairbanks. Opponent pitching Rays. Where's the Rays folder? There it is. All right. Christian Walker calls a little timeout, which is perfect because that gives me a little opportunity to update the pitcher thumbnail. Here's the next pitch. Called strike 3, low and inside. Walker does the Cincinnati Reds dance that they like to do. But it's in there. Just barely, but it's in there. Yeah, right on the edge. Could have gone either way, but once again, if it's close, you got to swing on 2 strikes. You can't just let it go and then complain about it. 1 away. Walker goes down as Striker. Christian Striker. Pete Fairbanks gets the strikeout against Walker. He will now be facing the Batman, Victor Caratini. Here comes the first pitch. 97 right on the outside edge. Good pitch. 0-1. Here's the next toss. 0-1 pitch. Top of the zone. 85-mile-per-hour slider. 0-2. Come on, guys. You got to swing at those. Why are we taking all these strikes? Taking so many strikes all of a sudden. Caratini calls a timeout. Steps out of the box. I just realized my avatar was missing. Come on, Caratini. 2 for 3 today with a single and a double. He goes opposite field with that one, but foul. Count remains 0-2. 98 miles an hour on that pitch. Sending out love and light to all of us. Bid Dog, thank you. Same to you. Love and light. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Fairbanks. Gets Walker looking, and the Batman swinging. 2 away. Here in the top of the 8th. Astros they've been pretty quiet. Scored 1 in the second, 1 in the third. It's like, hey, we're going to score some runs this game. Not really. Just a couple. But Mr. Baseball's at the plate. He has the power to make it 3-0. He takes the first pitch just a little low. Could have been either way. Ball 1. Could have gone either way. He does have himself an RBI double this game. He drove in Caratini when they had back-to-back doubles. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Another one, similar pitch, but this one finds its mark in the bottom of the zone. 2 breaking pitches. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. No runners on for Mr. Jake Myers. Here comes the toss from Fairbanks. This one's hit up the middle. Jake Myers with another hit. We have a 2-out base runner. Good old Jake Myers. Right up the middle. Zach DeCenzo, who has struck out 3 times today, has an opportunity to redeem himself right here. Just one swing, he could turn that all around. Well, not like that. Swing and a miss on the slider. Another strike for DeCenzo. How many strikes does he have today? Not including the foul balls, he has 10. 10 strikes. Here comes the next. Nope. Thought the next pitch was coming, but Fairbanks went over to first base. Myers is back. 0-1. 1 runner on. 2 outs. Here comes the next pitch. Jake Myers is stealing. DeCenzo grounds it to third. The throw to first, he's barely on. That was a terrible throw. The first baseman has to stretch, but he manages to get it, and DeCenzo grounds out. So 3 strikeouts and a ground out for DeCenzo today. He's 0 for 4. Once again, in the 8th inning, the Astros do nothing. So after they get those runs in the second and the third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 innings in a row, not a single run scored. The Astros with 8 hits and 2 runs. The Rays with 3 hits and no runs. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It looks like... Now, the Astros did have Okert warming up. But I don't necessarily think that they'll have Okert coming in the 8th inning. Not with a 2-0 lead. BitDog says, I just woke up from my post-dialysis nap. Man. That's one thing that I've been able to avoid is dialysis. I also avoided a colostomy bag after having massive surgery on my intestines many years ago. Some people would say I've been lucky, but considering the amount of pain and medicines and hospitalizations and struggle in life, I mean, if you look at appearances, financially, family relationships, romantic relationships, isolation, and health in every possible way, the appearance is that all of those things are bad. That's the appearance. But, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I believe that those things came from the inside. They came from a place of feeling not good enough. And I want to be honest with you guys. Early on in my life, I struggled. Steven Okert is in the game for the Astros, by the way. What I was going to say is, I've struggled ever since I was a kid with trying to get approval from others. So I'm trying to eliminate that from my life. First pitch comes to Curtis Mead, right on the outside edge. That could have been a ball, called a strike. A little generous from the umpire. 0-1. Here comes the next toss. Swing and a miss, low and inside, 82-mile-per-hour slider. Just like that, ahead in the count, 0-2. But yeah, I basically have cared my whole life too much about what other people think, trying to get approval and support and love and all those sorts of things. Okay, 0-2 pitch hits him on the foot, on the back foot. Curtis Mead gets hit on the back foot, so the leadoff runner, there's the leadoff runner. Let's take a look at this. 0-2, went too far inside and hit him on the foot. Oh, that's not the back foot. They said that was the back, but that's the front foot. So, no balls, 2 strikes, then he gets hit on the foot. That's sad. Yandy Diaz is back up at the plate with a runner on, no outs. Here is the first pitch from Okert. Ooh, just misses high and inside for ball 1. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, low and inside. Nice slider. That one slid way inside. The count is even, 1-1. 20 people watching the live stream or listening in. Thank you for being here. I need 2 more likes to get to 20. Help me out if you will. I'd appreciate that. Here comes the next pitch from Okert. Too far inside. That one just kept sliding. 2 balls, 1 strike. Diaz taking a little break. Now he's back in the box. Okert looks for the call. He's got what he wants. Here comes the pitch. That one's hit up the middle. Is it going to get down? Yes. It's going to be played on a hop by Myers. He brings it in. The runner goes to second. So the first 2 hitters are on for the Rays here in the bottom of the 8th. Don't let it fall apart here, guys. Can't let it fall apart here. Jose Caballero comes to the plate. Batting .252 for the season. Nobody out. Caballero is over 3 today. Not a stellar batting average so far this year. Looks like they bring a pinch runner in at first base for Yandy. He's out of the game now. Two runners on, no outs. First pitch coming to Caballero. He hits it straight up in the air and not playable, unfortunately. Strike 1. "22 people watching. It's starting to climb up as it gets closer to the end of the game. Make sure you like the live stream if you like the Astros, are interested in the play-by-play for the Stros. Remember to click the subscribe button, please. Thank you in advance. 0-1 pitch from Okert to Caballeros on the way. Hit high in the air out to left field. Pretty shallow. McCormick comes in and he can't make the play. But he throws to third. What in the world? Chaz came charging in. It looked like Pena might be taking it. Chaz wasn't sure. In the last moment, he dove at it. He missed it. But they were lucky that the base runner held up and they were able to throw him out at third base. What nonsense there. One bounce and Pena picked it up. So Chaz thought Pena was going to try to get it. Pena was just watching. Chaz drops it. But luckily, Pena picks up really quickly and fires to third to get the out. Man. Comedy of errors there. Comes out in their favor, luckily. Here comes the next pitch. Jonathan Aranda at the plate. Outside for ball. Oh, no, that was not outside. That was a strike. 0-1. Just bad communication out there. Pena should have backed off. Here gets... No. Ogre comes off the mound. It's interesting, the stats on that catch. They say that Chaz should have caught that for sure, like 99% chance. That ball almost hits Aranda way inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Almost hit another batter there. Come on, man. Calm down. Astros, calm down, guys. Just calm down. 12th pitch for Okert on the way. The runners are going. They're stealing. Throw at first base. Double steal. Meisner going to second. Caminero getting to third. Any team can steal on the Astros, basically. That was close, but he looks like he was in there. Astros are not going to challenge, so 2 balls, 1 strike with 1 out. Runners on second and third. Here comes the pitch from Okert. That one's fouled off into the stand for strike 2. 2-2. If there is one team in MLB that you can steal on right now, it's the Astros. 26 watching. Thank you for being here. Be sure to like the live stream for me. Just need 2 more to get to 20. 2 more likes. Jonathan Aranda is at the plate right now, facing Steven Okert. Okert got a little trouble on the bases. He's got 1 out with runners on second and third. Here comes the next pitch. That one's right through. That's going to score at least 1, maybe 2. Yeah, that's going to tie up the game. So Okert gives up the lead the Astros had with a single. 2-0. Yeah, I have to say that I'm surprised that they brought Okert in the 8th inning. Very surprised. And this is why, because this is a very important close game. And this is why you don't bring in Okert in the 8th inning in a situation like this. Now they're going to pull him out? After he gives up the runs? Now you're going to pull him out? You never should have put him in. That is my personal opinion. Bringing in Steven Okert in the 8th inning with a 2-0 lead was a terrible decision. Joe Espada coming out to take him out after he's already given up the runs, when he never should have put him in. That's not a spot that Steven Okert should ever have been in. Terrible decision. That's unfortunate. This game is tied in the 8th inning. Only 1 out, runner on. 19 likes on the live stream. Need 1 more to get to 20. Just need 1 more. Okert's day is over. I don't have anything against Okert. I think he's an alright guy. But bringing him into a shutout in the 8th inning with only a 2-run lead, that's not his typical role. I just knew it in my gut from watching all of these games and watching the pitchers and how they play and how they work in different situations, and Okert was not the choice I would have made, and that's why. 5 hits for the Rays and 2 runs on the board. 8 hits for the Astros, 2 runs on the board. So the Rays being more efficient with their run production. 7 hits, a shutout ball, and then the Astros lose their lead. Bad coaching decision to bring Okert in the 8th inning. Who's on the mound now for the Astros? If it's Abreu, I'll be angry. It's not. Because Abreu's great, and that's who they should have had in there, but they didn't. Caleb Ort is now on the mound. Not surprising. Here's the first pitch from Ort to Junior Caminero. That's a strike, 91 miles an hour, right in there. 0-1 is the count with runner on first base, 1 out. Here's the next pitch from Ort. That's grounded towards short. Might be a double play. Pena steps on second, fires the first, and he's got it. Just like that, Ort puts it away. Just a couple of pitches right out of the bullpen. Pena makes up for interfering a little bit earlier, but that's the end of the 8th, but the Astros give up the lead, 2-2. Top of the 9th coming up. Astros need to get at least one more run. Who's due up? Cam Smith is due up, followed by Chas McCormick and then Jeremy Pena. Man, I really need to take a shower. I did a lot of cleaning last night, and I don't have any water here right now, so I can only take like a cloth bath. I can take some water, heat it up, and put it in a bucket and wash myself with that, but getting my fingernails clean, getting my hair clean and stuff, not as easy. Okert fried, yes. If this isn't fried okert, this is okert fried. That's right. Jordan says, my gut is not surprised because we only scored 2 runs when we should have had 5. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You can't, we can't, right? We can't put all this on the pitchers. They have to score more runs than 2. That's been the consistent issue with the Astros, not scoring enough runs. They need to be averaging 5 runs a game. Minimal. League average is 4, and that's where they're at. They can't be winning games averaging just 4 runs a game. Can't be doing that. Let's see who's on. For the Rays, they have a different pitcher on the mound, Manuel Rodriguez. Manuel Rodriguez. I might have him in my folder. I do. Yes, I do. First pitch to Cam Smith on the way. He takes that one outside. Manuel was in the game the other day, I believe. Next pitch coming in. Also outside. Good eye by Cam, taking 2 straight balls, 2-0. Cam Smith is a really fast guy, one of the fastest in the MLB. Getting him on base would be a good idea. Here's the pitch. That's up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. This is exactly what we need right there. Get Cam Smith on base to lead off this inning. Right up the middle. Now, Chas McCormick with an opportunity to come up big for the Astros right here. Here's the first pitch to McCormick. He tries to lay down the bunt. That's funny. They said that in the major leagues right now, Chas McCormick is leading all of MLB in sacrifice bunts. 9 hits now for the Astros, almost at 10, but they only have 2 runs on the board. 0-1 is the count with Cam Smith on first base. Here's the pitch from Rodriguez to McCormick. He tries to bunt it again. This time he fouls it off. 0-2. Is he going to try to bunt again? Chaz takes a little timeout and walks around the batter's box. Now he's back in. Rodriguez has the call. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Little outside. Good take. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Little check swing. They say he went too far. That's strike 3. Chaz goes down. You know, if you're going to do that, you might as well just go ahead and bunt with 2 strikes instead of check swinging for an out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's too far. All right, 1 away. Jeremy Pena is at the plate. Come on, man. You are the man right now. He hits that one to third. It's a chopper. It might be a double play ball. No, they only get Cam Smith at second. Out number 2. Fielder's choice. Cam Smith trots off the field. Nothing doing so far for the Astros. Cam Smith with the leadoff hit. Then a strikeout. A ground out, but you know what? Our home run guy is at the plate. He socked the ball Paredes. He's got 1 this game already, and he's got several recently. He might be able to come up big. Let's see. He can. 95 right in there. That sinker finds the spot. Strike 1. He calls a timeout, steps out to make some adjustments. How awesome would it be for him to win the game with a 2-run shot here? That'd be another game-winning hit for Paredes. Check swing, ball 1 in the dirt. He didn't go around. They petitioned to first base, but they say he didn't go around. This was probably his best game ever. The pitcher had a 6-run ERA. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Here comes a 1-1 pitch to Paredes, outside and in the dirt. Ball 2. Maybe Rodriguez is afraid to pitch to Paredes. Can't blame him. Maybe he can be punished by Paredes. The Paredes punish. Here's the pitch. This is hit way too high. He didn't get on top of it. Too far underneath it. Lowe puts it away for out number 3. Nothing doing for the Astros in the top of the 9th. All right, guys. Well, the Astros are going to have to hold them. See if they can get into extra innings because they are done for regular innings. Bottom of the 9th coming up. This game is tied 2-2. Astros held the line until the 8th inning. Then they gave up 2 runs. Astros hitting just not getting the job done. Think about this. If the Astros had just MLB average runs right now, they'd be winning 4-2. But they don't even have that. The Astros pitching, even though we've had some issues and some injuries and stuff like that, even so, with good hitting, okay? Good hitting. And I don't mean the best. I just mean even average hitting. If the Astros were just always doing average hitting and average scoring, they could still be a World Series contender because of how resilient and consistent overall the pitching staff has been. But man, this type of performance right here, where you're batting against a pitcher who should be giving up a ton of runs, and you can only get 2 runs? Okay. 25 people following along right now. Please give me some more likes on the live stream. We are in the bottom of the 9th. 27. It's going up now that the game is almost over. Everybody wants to come in and see how this one goes. Maybe the extra innings, if it goes into extra innings, maybe that's good for my live stream. We'll see. 371 subscribers. Thank you to any of you who are new. The new subscribers. I appreciate you being here. I really do. Lots of comments in the live stream today. That's nice to see. Caleb Ort stays in the game for the Astros. Christopher Morel comes to the plate. He will be the leadoff batter for the Rays here in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the first pitch from Fried Oakert. No, I'm sorry, Ort. My bad. Why did I'm still thinking about Fried Oakert. This is Caleb Ort. My bad. Why did I say that? I'm off in another world, guys. 1-0 is the count to Christopher Morel. The next pitch is on the way. Swing and a miss on the outside edge. 96 miles per hour on that heater. The count is even, 1-1. Two balls, two strikes. No. 2-2. 2 balls, 1 strike. That pitch is outside. It might be 2 balls, 2 strikes right here. This pitch sneaks in. Here comes the delivery from Ort. In the dirt. Nope. 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Morel from Ort. Swing and a miss, upper fastball. That was a nice pitch, 96 miles an hour upstairs. Morel isn't able to climb the ladder fast enough to get that one. Full count. Leadoff batter. Here's the toss. Foul back. Remains 3-2. Man, this coffee that I got is so much stronger than the last coffee that I got. Do you guys know Caldi? Caldi Coffee? One of my favorite little shops in Japan. Mark says, still upset at Oakert. Me too, man. I'm not going to eat fried Oakert for a while because of that. Here's the next pitch. Walked him a good 4 or 5 inches out of the zone. On that fastball. He throws a fastball, tries to get it right on that outside edge, but he misses it completely. Ort now has himself a walk. Leadoff runner, pinch hitter comes to the plate. Brandon Lau comes in for Danny Jansen. Why are they pinch hitting? I guess it's because of lefty. They want a lefty up there, but Jansen has been really hitting the ball. Here's the first pitch to Lau. Long delay by Ort. Fouled off. The 90-mile-per-hour cutter. Getting him swinging. Guys, please remember to like the live stream. Also, if you are not subbed, you can do so. If you're an Astros fan. If you're not, you're welcome to also, but I understand if you don't. That was a foot outside. The count's even, 1-1. The dozenth pitch coming for Ort in just a moment to Brandon Lau. The 1-1 count with the runner on first. No outs. Swing and a miss. Little foul tip. Little foul tip action. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's some Astros out in the bullpen, but nobody's throwing. Nobody's throwing yet, looks like. Sousa, Abreu. A couple of other guys out there. Gusto is out there. Mucho gusto. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lau. Here comes the delivery. Long pause. Tapped out into left field. That's going to drop. Chaz is over. Runner is all the way over to third. Opposite field, poke. Lob as a pinch hitter and gets a double. Man, Chaz was way out there. Way out into the deep part of the field, and it took him a while to get over there. By the time he did, it's a double. We have runners on second and third with no outs. Looks like the Astros are trying to give this game away. They just might do it. Josh Lowe comes to the plate. No outs. Runners on second and third. The game on the line right here. This might be no extra innings after all. Here comes the pitch. Hit high in the air on the infield. Altuve's there. He puts it away. But easy little pop up. Big out. One away. One pitch, one out from Josh Lowe. Taylor Walls comes to the plate. Infield is in, looking for that bunt, just in case. Here's the pitch. Right in there, 90-mile-per-hour cutter. 0-1 against Josh Lowe. No, I'm sorry, Taylor Walls. One out, runners on second and third in the bottom of the ninth. Down to the wire. Low and inside for ball one. The count's 1-1. Come on, Ort, you can do it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Walls swings and misses. 89 cutter on the inside. Lower inside corner. Good pitch. 1-2. Nice pitch there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mark says they have fried chicken steak in Japan. Fried chicken steak, you don't see that, but they have fried chicken for sure, and they have karaage, which is like Japanese style. That should be strike 3 right in the top of the zone. That was strike 3. The umpire calls it a ball. Look at this. 89-mile-per-hour cutter right in the top of the zone. Calls it a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That would have been out number 2. That's amazing. As hit in the air to left field, shallow left field. McCormick has got it. He's going to be throwing. Is there a tag? It is. This could be it. He's safe. And that's it. The Rays win it with a sacrifice to left field. Chaz doesn't have the big arm. That's it for this game, guys. The Astros give it up. Can you believe it? 7 innings of shutout ball with 3 hits. They give up 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th and lose the game 3-2. And this, I would say this game falls on the shoulders of the Astros hitters. With 4 runs, they could still win this game. But they couldn't even get 3 on the board. With 9 hits, they stranded runners like crazy. Very upsetting. I do apologize. Like I say, when the Astros aren't playing well, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm going to give you a really quick recap of this game. And then I'll let you know what's coming up tomorrow, and then I'll be out of here. I've got stuff to do. I've got to get cleaned up a bit, change clothes, pack my bag, pack my computer, and head to Hiroshima City. Pick up some lunch on the way. But guys, here's the scoring summary for the game. First of all, I want to tell you this. We had a really great start by a new pitcher, Brandon Walters. He went 5 innings. No shutout. I mean, no runs. A complete shutout. 3 hit ball. Think about that. Our new guy, 5 innings. No runs. 3 hits. And the Astros could only put 2 runs on the board to support him. That is typical Astros ball right now. Myers doubled to center field after Caratini had doubled, and that scored Caratini 1-0 in the top of the second. And in the top of the third, Paredes Soler homered. 2-0 Astros. These are the only runs that the Astros would put on the board. All the other runners they would strand. So 3 hits scored all of the Astros runs. The other 6 hits led to nothing. In the bottom of the 8th, after 7 complete innings of shutout ball, Okert gave up a single that scored 2 runs. That tied the game, and then Ort got into trouble in the 9th inning. There was a bad call by the umpire on what should have been a strikeout, but they got the sacrifice fly, and then they lost the game 3-2. Unfortunate game for the Astros, but not a surprising outcome considering how many times they've done this type of game. They lose because they just don't score even a handful of runs. It was not even a handful of runs. They could have had a chance to sweep this series tomorrow with Hunter Brown on the mound, guys. Hunter Brown on the mound. But so far in this series, they've only scored a total of 6 runs. They scored the league average yesterday, won by 1 run. Today they couldn't even get but half of the league average. Disappointing performance, but tomorrow's game, guys, is at 2:10 in the morning. Now, here's the thing. I booked a hotel near the hospital for tonight. So my goal is to go to Hiroshima City early. I'm going to eat lunch on the way. I will watch a movie in the afternoon, the new Mission Impossible movie. It's almost 3 freaking hours long. And then I'll go straight to the hotel, get some rest, get some sleep, just relax and sleep. I'll get up at 2 o'clock and do the game. That's my plan. Hunter Brown on the mound versus Bradley, game 3 against the Rays. And then I'll go back to sleep. I'll sleep late, or as late as I need to. And then my butt will be going to the hospital for an appointment tomorrow. But I hope to be here for game 3 at 2:10 in the morning for me here in Japan. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate the support. Shoot says, and we lose because the ump was blind. You know, Shoot, you're right that should have been strike 3, but at the same time, it should never have gotten to that point. The Astros should have had more runs on the board. So, can't really blame the ump. I mean, he was wrong, but putting the whole game on one pitch, I'd like to do that, but I have to blame the Astros bats again. All right, the poll is ended. How many wins will they get against the Mariners? Most of you think either 2 or 3. So it's either going to be a split or a 3-game Astros win. I'd be happy with the 3-game win, but we really need the sweep. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscriptions. The tremendous amount of comments today. I really do appreciate you guys coming in with all the comments. That's great. I've got my comments on the screen right now. That's pretty crazy. 21 likes. We cleared 20. That's where I wanted to be for the day at the minimal. You guys helped me get there. As usual, thank you so much. That's pretty much it. Disappointing ending to the game, but there's reason to be thankful for and hopeful that we have more young pitchers coming in getting the job done. Now, if the Astros can keep from injuring their pitchers, they bring them in, they train them well, and then they send them out to surgery, it seems. But that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much. Love you all. My best wishes to you all. Take care of yourselves. And all I have to say now is Geaux Stros.